Japan is probably the cutest country that I have ever visited or encountered. And it also has some of the more interesting perverted aspects that I have also ever encountered. And now you're like, what the heck? That is a weird comparison. But it's weird because in Japan, these things are often close together. So let's talk about that, the cuteness and the weird perverted hentai-ness of Japan. Woo! Okay, first up, everything in Japan is cute. It's ridiculous. From really serious things like construction, or ads for insurance, or street signs. There's cuteness. They use cute animation. They have a lot of cartoons, and even where they have kind of like their manholes or whatever where they would get fire hydrant water, basically, they have cute covers on there. They're like cute little men going, oh, I'm gonna go put out a fire, woo! It's so cute. It doesn't make any sense. In California, it's like concrete and no nonsense. We don't play around with that stuff. Sometimes you have cartoons on like insurance ads, like I think Esurance or something had a cartoon, and sometimes people use computer graphics, but not in the way that Japan does it. Japan animates so many things. It's insane. Their buildings are really cute. Their cars are adorable. They even have extra adorable cars and buses and trains just for the sake of cuteness, because it's adorable and everybody wants to ride it. And I think part of the reason is the approachability of it all. Being cute does not scare people. So if you see an ad for something and it's cute, it's like, oh, that's approachable, and I can totally get on board with that. Whereas you see an ad and it's like, very serious, and it wants you to buy it, but it's very like, oh, it's not as approachable. You don't wanna go buy it. You're not like, oh my gosh, that's the cutest thing. What is it? Tell me more. I'll buy it. Kind of thing. Also, I think Japan, it's interesting. It's such a crazy transition from the traditionalness of Japan, because Japan is steeped in history. It has a really long sense of tradition and propriety and things like that, where it's like they stick to a traditional regimen quite often, and it's well respected even in younger generations. But at the same time, they utilize cartoons for so many things, and adults watch cartoons, and it's okay to be past the age of 12 wearing pigtails and cute dresses and little like saddle shoes because it's cute. So it's just an interesting cultural juxtaposition. Ooh, vocab word. What's even more juxtaposing is that places like Akihabara and Ikebukuro and some of the other sort of like nerdy places, they couple the cute life and style with the perverse life and style. So you will see an anime or manga book place that has cute like kawaii girls outside, or maid cafes, or just arcades with a bunch of cute stuffed plushies right next to a porn shop, or right next to sexy emotional club girls kind of thing. And it's really interesting because in America, an arcade or a comic book store or stuffed animals would be marketed towards children. And you would not have a sex shop or anything sexy near the kids store, because that would be against zoning laws. We have laws in America that say no perviness next to kids. And there is a reason for that, because there are pedophiles and bad things, let's get real here, folks. But in Japan, culturally, you can mix those together and have them right next to each other. And also, if anybody's watched anime, can't say that I know too much about it, but I've heard from a friend of a friend of a friend that in anime, there's a lot of cute girls, and a lot of these cute girls are drawn rather promiscuously, in that they have really big breasts that are often exposed or partially exposed, or, very close to that, or like they always have short skirts where the wind blows up their skirts and you see their undies, and then the guy gets the nosebleed, all that stuff. I've never seen it. I wouldn't know, but that's what I've heard. And that's all in a perverted sense. In American cartoons, you would not have that at all. It's not that's not ethical, I guess, or that would be frowned upon, basically. But at the same time, I don't hate it. I'm not looking down on it. I'm not saying this in a judgmental way. I just am kind of bringing light to this interesting cultural situation over there in the Japan area, you know. I like it because I really like animated things. So for me, it works out. I love having some adult content in cartoons. And I wouldn't say that all cartoons in America are just for kids, because we have Family Guy and The Simpsons and things like that are not for kids at all. And they do have these weird situations. But a lot of anime is kind of ageless. Like, anybody can watch it at any age, and they have that stuff incorporated within it. So it's a little bit strange in that aspect. But again, like I said, I like it because for me, I enjoy watching cartoons. I watch SpongeBob. I think it's hilarious. But it's in anime, it's funny because I can watch these sort of adult situations or just real life situations that happen when you're in high school or middle school, and it's not often portrayed in the cartoons that are for those ages. So that's interesting. And it's also kind of weird at the same time, because you do have older men usually. It's usually men. There's not usually that many girls who are going into like the shops and looking at the porn stuff. We were in Akihabara and we were walking around doing that fun stuff like you do. And there was this sex shop on the corner, which if it's in one of my pictures, I'll put it up and be like, whoop, it's right here. And we went in there, and the first 2 levels I was allowed. And it had a bunch of like sex toys and things like that you could look at. But then the top 2 levels, ladies were not allowed. It was against store policy for me to go up there. So my boyfriend goes up and he checks it all out, and he said that it was interesting. You'll have to go and find out and see what you think. And if you're a girl, you'll never find out. Sorry. But I don't think you're missing too much. It is just very interesting that there is that portion of the culture that is maintained and maybe I don't really like suppressed. I guess that's kind of part of the suppression of the sexual culture there. And so I find that a little bit I guess unfortunate, just because it would suck to have to suppress that side of yourself. And I do think that that kind of can be troublesome within the society, which is probably why they have to have cars that are just for women. So that, like, you know, every place, every culture has its flaws and its upsides, but I feel like that maybe is kind of one of the downsides to that. But then at the same time, you know, you have like the kids who can watch these things and it's not super graphic, or, I mean, it can be. Trust me, it can be. But for the most part, most animes that everybody's going to watch, or that's on like the main television programs, or that are really popular, are going to have this sense of perversion, but it's not going to be so graphic to where it's like you worry about your child and what they're watching, but they do get exposed to some things. So it's kind of good in that sense, I feel. This is all my opinion. None of this is like scientific or proven or whatever. This is all just my opinion. It's all just based on stuff that I noticed when we went on this trip and things that I found interesting. So nice little disclaimer. Just take it with a grain of salt, what I'm saying. It's just I found it really interesting, okay? Gosh. So if you've ever been to Japan, I would love to hear your stories about weird instances that you've seen. We didn't go to the red light district, or like the quote-unquote red light district. I don't know if it's actually called that. But we did stumble again through some areas that had like the naughty girl clubs. In America, when you go by like a naughty girl club, they look like naughty girls. In Japan, these girls are cute. They're like, I'm so naughty. And you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Seriously, they're just too cute. You just go in there and be like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. I highly doubt that that's what happens when people go in there, but that's not what this video is about. But I would love to hear stories, and if you write those down in the comments, that would be awesome. And also let me know if you've experienced this kind of strange juxtaposition of the cuteness and the sexiness of Japan and what your thoughts are about it. And if you liked my video, guys, thanks so much. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And you can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and Snapchat and Snow. And we'll have more pictures, I'll have more videos, and we'll see you around. Thanks, guys.